I have to say that the players now in the last couple of years here, not only have they got used to playing in the Premiership, but actually enjoy it, and I think are coming on a bundle. There's no doubt about it.
How good this Leicester team is was soon tested in the first game at Highbury. Last season's top scorer, Tony Cotte's form, suggested the summer layoff had only increased his goal-scoring appetite rather than starved it. The man they called TC was top cat again. £1 million keeper Tim Flowers was superb on his debut after his signing from Blackburn, but he couldn't stop Dennis Bergkamp wiping out the lead. Now Leicester defended defiantly until injury time. Frank Sinclair was unfortunate enough to head the ball into his own net. Sinclair's own goals were to become something of a feature of the first week of the season, as was Muzzy Izzet's penalty taking. The Arsenal defeat and the loss of Heskey through injury didn't dampen enthusiasm at Filbert Street for the opening home game, the M69 derby against Coventry. With less than half an hour gone, Neil Lennon was tripped by Mark Edworthy, and Muzzy Izzet stepped up to score the goal, which was enough to give City the points. It was the first penalty Izzet had taken for the club, and later he'll tell the story about becoming Leicester's spot kicker. Tim Flowers, on his home debut, distinguished himself again. Now, there was one other incident in the match, the sending off of David Burrows for this attack on Robbie Savage. It left Coventry with 10 men for 20 minutes, and poor old Robbie with a bloody nose for just as long. How did you find out you were going to be the penalty taker?
Before the game, the gaffer asked who fancied the penalties, so I just said I fancied them. Matty said he didn't really want to take it, so I just said, all right, I'll step up and I'll take it. And lucky enough, we got a penalty, and I just had the confidence to go up and take it.
Have you taken penalties before in a big match?
No, it's my first one. I took them as a kid and always missed, but tonight I was lucky, I scored.
Anyway, back to Frank Sinclair's own goals and Muzzy's penalties, and the return of Emile Heskey to the fray after his injury. Chelsea player-manager Gianluca Vialli paraded a multi-million-pound array of international talent at Filbert Street, even able to leave Didier Deschamps, Marcel Desailly and £10 million striker Chris Sutton on the bench. And if he's worth £10 million, well, what price? Emile Heskey. His 10th minute goal was the first blow in a match which rivaled the game at Arsenal for pulsating excitement. There was even a thunderstorm which blacked out the scoreboard. Dennis Wise levelled things after 48 minutes, the referee waving play on, even though the assistant referee had his flag up. Now, penalty appeals were ignored by referee Steve Lodge until the last minute, when Heskey was brought down by Albert Ferrer. Muzzy put his kick to the same place as against Coventry. Ed de Hoy made a brave attempt to reach it. And so to injury time. The last team Frank Sinclair wanted to score an own goal against was Chelsea, his former club. But just as the referee was about to signal full time, oh no.
I thought his performances have been excellent, and yet, come to the last couple of minutes of the game, I was getting to a stage after about the fourth or fifth game where I thought, well, if Frank's still on the field of play, this time we better get him off the field because he'll probably stick one into our net. Arsenal was was unfortunate, and then we beat Coventry midweek. And then to play Chelsea, and for him to do exactly the same again. For them, well, obviously we dropped 2 points. It was particularly galling at that time because we had just scored a penalty kick. Muzzy Izzet had scored a penalty for us, and so we were leading 2-1. And you would have thought that perhaps we might have learned the lesson from the previous week. And no, not at all. Frank decided to do the needful there and give his old teammates, a chance of winning the championship so early on in the season.
How much sympathy did you feel for Frank Sinclair? After all, you played alongside with a couple of years ago for Chelsea.
Yeah, not a lot when he scored because I was really pleased. I didn't know that he had made the own goal, but I think Frank played a marvellous game this afternoon. He really was impressive. And I think he's strong and big enough. He's got big shoulders, so he's strong enough to cope with the situation and get on with that and forget about that as soon as possible. And I'm sure that next week he's going to play out of his skin like he did this afternoon.
Well, Frankie's done brilliant for us ever since he's been here. So, he'd be as upset as anyone, particularly against his old club, Chelsea. As you say, to get 2 in 3 games, but no blame attached. It's a collective thing, defending, and it's something for us to sort out. But if he gets 3 or 4 more, perhaps we'll ask a few questions then.
The fact that it is your second successive week, it doesn't make you feel somebody up there doesn't like you?
No, well, that's just how it's my 4th one, I think, in my career. So I've doubled that in a week. But that's what it's all about. I think we're more disappointed as a team for conceding so late. Thought we could have tied up the game and that would have been the end of it. But as a team, we were happy with the way we played today. Thought we matched them on the park, all over the park, and disappointed we didn't get the 3 points.
West Ham became Leicester's 3rd London opponents in the first 4 matches. And Emile Heskey did to them what he'd done at Chelsea. He scored early on. But Paulo Wanchope latched onto the ball after 28 minutes to make it 1-1. Paulo Di Canio hit a beauty, which turned out to be the winner. City had been playing well without necessarily getting their just rewards. At the Riverside Stadium, everything came together. The side, narrowly beaten by West Ham, destroyed Borough, although the early signs hadn't been encouraging. City went ahead after 35 minutes, Emile Heskey's 3rd goal in as many matches. And 3 minutes later, Tony Cottee scored. And once again, a typical Steve Guppy cross. The perfect cross, the perfect finish. And it was Emile Heskey who rounded things off nicely.
Leicester scored in the 84th minute from Emil Heskey.
Middlesbrough was a big win for us that night, there's no doubt about it. It was just a magnificent performance, and they had been riding high, going terrifically, and we needed to get something. I think the previous game we'd been a bit stodgy, and it was a big night for us. We came in, we outperformed them from start to finish, particularly so after about 5, 6, 7 minutes in the game when Tim Flowers was carried off. Peggy went into goal and did magnificently, made a magnificent save at 0-0 to give us that impetus to go on. We finally won the game 3-0, and we won it in a canter eventually. You know, it wasn't that way obviously throughout the match, but we've won it eventually very comfortably.
Rugged resistance from Watford was overcome by Steve Guppy's wing work, and must have a goal, is it? Just about everybody was calling on Kevin Keegan to bring Guppy into the England squad. He was playing his chances down.
A lot of people have mentioned you with regard to England. Were you hoping for a sneak?
I don't know, you know, I mean, it's not for me to say. I would love a chance, and I'm sure I wouldn't let anyone down, but it's not up to me.
And talking of England call-ups, what about a recall for Tim Flowers? Now, this wasn't the way he normally advertises his international credentials, and Sunderland made it a blooming awful day for Flowers. Paul Butler with the first goal. And then Gavin McCann made it a dim afternoon at the Stadium of Light for Leicester. Still, there was always the Worthington Cup to look forward to and a trip to the Palace.
Leicester's first corner of the match. Keeper came and lost it rather, and it's been turned in at the far post. The goal's been given. Well, Digby was in all sorts of trouble from the cross, and Palace a goal down with 18 minutes played. Not sure if it was Eddie who got the final touch. He hooked it back and it's gone in off the goalkeeper's heel.
Yeah, I'm afraid I think they thought he was running out of the back stick, and Matt Elliott's not giving it up. He's chased a lost cause, and unfortunately Andy Linnigan's not there, and Fraser Digby will be disappointed he hasn't cleared that, I think. Here's Palace on the attack.
This is Jamie Smith looking for support. First time strike, and it's in! Palace are level within 4 minutes of going behind. It's Clinton Morrison, goals in successive games for him, and the best possible response from the First Division side to falling behind.
Well, it's great striking from Morrison. He follows up on a mishit shot there, but he believes it's going to get there and gets himself in the box, and it's a great finish, and it's brought Palace back into the game.
I think it was Antunes who had the shot. It was going wide, but then Morrison intervened.
Yeah, I mean,
Smith
he does
who made
well.
the break originally.
He does really well. He continues on, and look, he's done ever so well. And Morrison's one of the success stories this season for them. And he was an apprentice when I was here, and he scored 4 goals this season already. And I think if we can get more of the ball to him, he can be a real threat to them.
Good first touch from Marshall. He's beaten Fanzi as well. Now, what can Marshall do from here? He's trying to set up Lennon, and it's 2-1. And a really well-crafted goal from Leicester, so you could see it coming. Marshall did the spade work, and Lennon finished it off.
It's outstanding interplay, really is. And Neil Lennon shows he's got a bit of a turn of pace there. He broke very sharply, and it's a lovely finish. Picked a little shot out under the keeper. And Marshall shows his physical strength now, but the pace of Neil Lennon's important there. Runs away from Jamie Smith. It's a great weighted pass, and he slipped it lovely right under the keeper, and giving Digby no chance.
Nothing for Digby to reproach himself about that.
No, very much. So it's a great finish from Marshall here.
Super little ball.
Good little ball, rather, and a great finish.
Leicester still lead by 2 goals to 1. Rizzo actually came in as a substitute on Saturday Main Road when Palace were beaten. And that was a blatant shirt pull by Rizzo. Just about the first thing he's done in the game is to concede a free kick.
Yeah, I think it's quite a positive substitution from Steve Cobble. He's a bit more forward-looking than Woosley, is it? You know, young Woosley's a defender at times, but certainly it looked like a more attacking player's challenge there from Rizzo. Still he plays to give away a free kick, and hope it doesn't prove costly.
And it goes from Guppy, and that's a quality header. Well, it really is a top-class header. It's 3-1 Leicester, and the Palace defence just went to sleep there. Poor defending.
They've had it all night. They haven't been able to deal with balls in the box, and there's Taggart coming up. I said he was a threat at corners, and so it's proved. Very, very costly foul from Rizzo. Jerry Taggart arrives, magnificent header. Andy Linnigan just that too far away from him.
It says in all the books you've got to head it down. That's what Taggart did. No chance at all for Digby. This is Bradbury trying to strike at the other end. He's just pushed it too far, I think. And I don't think Tim Flowers liked the challenge. There's a little bit of afters there.
Very brave challenge from Tim Flowers there. He really went down at his feet, and I think, to be fair to Bradbury, he's got every right to go for it. And I think he looks at his best, Bradbury, when he's marauding like this. He's got every right to go for that ball. Tim Flowers, very, very brave, does excellently well there.
And he recovered enough to get it in the second attempt. I'm not sure if David Ellery would have given the free kick. Flowers still in some trouble.
This should be a real concern to Martin O'Neill. I mean, we don't know the reason for Apexad being taken off, but it looked like maybe a thigh strain because he wasn't kicking the ball, and if Tim Flowers gets a serious injury, it will be a real worry to him.
I'm pretty sure that Ian Marshall's gone in goal once or twice in his career when there's been a real emergency.
Well, he's very, very versatile, Ian Marshall. I know he can play centre forward, and I think there's a few cuts and bruises on Tim Flowers there we can see. But he's been very unlucky. He was in magnificent form, and I think there was calls for an England recall until he got a nasty gash on his leg that gave him 12 or 13 stitches. But he's come back in the side, and it's a baptism of fire here with Big Bradbury powering down on him.
Yeah, he looks like he's gone a few rounds with Lennox Lewis. We'll see again.
Or even Emil Heskey.
We'll see again where the collision occurred. Bradbury with the run. He just pushed it a little far ahead of himself there. But it was a 50-50 ball, and Flowers had the presence of mind when the ball rolled loose to grab it. No contact the second time, but the evidence is clear to see certainly on Flowers' face.
Very much. I mean, he's got to go for the ball, Bradbury. He's got to go for the ball. You can see he's in some degree of shape. It looks like he may have hit his shoulder. It was a real challenge, and looks like the boot might have rolled up and catch him on the face. And Tim might be best pleased with that, because he prides himself on being one of the prettiest keepers in the Premiership, so he won't be too happy with them scars on his faces.
Well, as if Martin O'Neill didn't have enough to worry about. The goalkeeping crisis here at Selhurst would not be top of his list. Well, I think they're trying to do everything they can to keep him on, but
I think he's off, his gloves are off, and I think he's passing over.
Well, it may be Jerry Taggart. I think it is going to be Jerry. Let's have a look.
It looks like Jerry Taggart, yeah.
No, it's not Taggart.
It's Frank Sinclair. Is it on? No, it is.
It's Zagarakis, I think.
Yeah, it is Zagarakis.
Well, this will be interesting.
Not the tallest of keepers you've ever seen, I have to say. But obviously they're quite happy for him to go in there, and they'll have to make a substitution here. That's a real blow for Martin O'Neill. He must wonder what the luck is after, signing Tim, being a great signing for him. Now he looks like he's going to be maybe out for a little bit of a while.
And two nets. Fortunate ricochet off Roger. And he'll get his free kick there. Now another obvious chance to test this standing goalkeeper, and this really's got to be on target here.
Yeah, very much so. We need to get a shot on target, that's for sure. See if we can test the keeper. Most important thing is you make him make a save, even one bouncing in front of him.
Vanzi strikes it, and it's in! Well, the goalkeeper, Zagarakis, was in completely the wrong place. I'm not sure he was even ready, to be honest. He was by his near post, he just about reacted, but by then it was far too late. And Palace back in it. Vanzi, it's 3-2 Leicester.
Well, Leicester make the Cardinals sin of not having someone on the ball here. He's lining up the ball, and very quick thinking from Vanzi here, and curls it in the bottom corner.
Can't help thinking that with a regular goalkeeper that wouldn't have got in, but it doesn't matter, it's 3-2.
Oh, very much so. I mean, they've taken the opportunity very brightly, Palace, but you would think that Leicester would have had someone on the ball just to delay the free kick until he was set.
From the air from Sinclair. Well won, and there's no flag against Fenton here. Great chance for Fenton. And he rushed his shot, and it was nowhere near it.
I think Martin O'Neill will be really frustrated about that. It was a very poor defensive break, you know, as regards Palace concerned. You know, they're cut apart and they should never get in that situation. But Andy Lingham's done what he can, shut the angle, and it's a wild shot from Fenton.
So much space and time for him. Well over the top. Morrison, nice trick.
That's a warning certainly for Palace. They must keep their defensive responsibilities for sure and make sure that they cover.
And by Smith, and it's in! It's in! Palace are level. It's Hayden Mullins, I think.
And it's a magnificent header, it really is. And he arrives on the end of a Jamie Smith cross, and he actually gives Zagarakis no chance.
Would you believe it? They look to have no price at 3-1 Palace. We had the drama of Tim Flowers, Zagarakis in goal, excellent cross by Smith, and that's a superb near-post header, and that beats any goalkeeper.
Absolutely, and there pays the price of getting across the front post, arriving on the ball. Magnificent leap and header from Hayden Mullins.
This match featured a possible England strike duo playing on opposite sides in Heskey and Owen, but it was a former England striker who stole the limelight early on, Tony Cottee. Michael Owen needed a bit of help to get on the score sheet. Patrick Berger upended by Jerry Taggart. So the boy wonder stepped up to take the penalty. And it was only just legal. Had he stopped in the run-up, the goal could have been disallowed. There, that little check and a side foot into the corner of the net. Well, Michael Owen can do it from open play too, as of course Argentina found out, although it was Titi Camara who made all the running, and who wouldn't with Robbie Savage on his tail. Owen's finish wasn't bad at all. When it comes to goal scoring, Muzzy Izzet was topping the hit parade for Premiership midfielders. Now this, another reminder to Kevin Keegan. Muzzy and a few other first-team regulars were rested for the next match as Martin O'Neill tried his own version of squad rotation for the return leg of the cup tie with Palace. Another one from the repertoire. He scores from the spot with his head and with both feet. Stefan Oakes brought down there. Stefan, who's son of Shawaddy guitarist Trevor. Leicester City fan, big Leicester City fan, Trevor. And once again, Heskey's sent tumbling. It's third time lucky. And it's Dean Austin who's brought him down. It's the second time Dean Austin's clashed with Heskey. That one looked to be right on the line. A very difficult decision for the referee. Or was he influenced by those two previous clashes in the box? Andy Linnigan bringing down Heskey first. Those protests waved away. Then Dean Austin brought Heskey down. Then the third time, for the third time of asking, Dean Austin again bringing Heskey down. Penalty to Leicester. It looks as though Stefan Oakes is going to take it. The regular penalty taker for Leicester this season is Muzzy Izzet, who's volunteered to do the job. He's sitting on the bench. Muzzy, who's scored 2 penalties so far this season. It looks as though the responsibility is going to fall on young Stefan Oakes. So it's Oakes against Digby. Crawley slides it in the corner. Leicester City take the lead 1-0 after 19 minutes. Well, so far, Martin O'Neill must be really enjoying this. He's got a few players resting. Muzzy Izzet and Matt Elliott on the bench. And Tony Cottee not on the team sheet at all. Great work by Heskey, pulls the ball back, and there's the second goal. That should be the clincher from Ian Marshall. Classic goal. Heskey getting the ball to the byline, pulling it back. A crisp right foot finish from Ian Marshall. Ball won originally in the air by Ian Marshall, makes the run into the box to get on the end of it. The power again from Heskey, the finish from Ian Marshall, ricochets off the keeper. And Crystal Palace pull one back. Go almost right out of the blue. And that really was a surprise for Leicester. I think they were a little bit caught napping with the substitutions. And it's Stephen Thompson who volleys it right-footed, won the substitutes for Crystal Palace. So, 5-4 in aggregate to Leicester, 2-1 on the night. Fenton slips the ball out to Stuart Wilson on the right. Now, is this going to be the second penalty of the night for Leicester City? It certainly is. Graham Fenton there, brought down by the Chinese player, Fan Ziyi. curious instant. Fanzi pushing the ball against Fenton and then bundling him over. A clear penalty. Dreadful mistake by the former Asian Player of the Year. Penalty taken by Stephen Oakes. And that one over the bar. Well, Oakes has put Leicester City ahead tonight. A penalty after Emil Heskey was brought down in the first half. But that one, I'm afraid, sailing over the bar. Took it in a hurry. Very clear penalty too, after Fan Ziyi brought down Graham Fenton. Great ball through from Ian Marshall, possibly the best pass of the match. That is a superb goal. A wonderfully worked goal. Marshall to Zagorakis. The finish from substitute Graham Fenton. Let's have a look at this one again. A goal to savour for Leicester City. Beautifully worked. Stephen Oakes. This exquisite ball from Ian Marshall inside the defender. Theo Zagorakis across to Graham Fenton, right in the corner of the net. Quite brilliant. Into the last 5 minutes of the match now. Leicester City leading 6-4 on aggregate. That ball across. It's Lee Bradbury who's stolen. Really caught catching that Leicester defence. Well, a bit of slackness with 5 minutes to go from Leicester City there. Dean Austin with the ball to Clint Morrison. His cross. And Bradbury just really wasn't picked up at all there. Ball nearly short of the keeper, Fraser Digby. It's come out to Stephen Oakes. Great chance to finish it. And that one gives Stephen Oakes his second goal of the night, his second goal for Leicester City, and really makes up for that missed penalty. So Leicester do it again. They put themselves under a bit of pressure, and they now lead 7-5 on aggregate. Second goal in Stephen Oakes' Leicester City career. And proud father Trevor Oakes, I'm sure, is somewhere up in the stand. Well, Stephen, you stepped up to take the penalty tonight. Now, what happened beforehand? Was it decided you were going to be the penalty taker or what?
Well, no, not really. We didn't have a discussion about the penalty situation. I mean, Muzzy was sub tonight and Matty, obviously, was sub as well. So I looked across at the bench when the penalty was given and I thought I'd be ready to handle it.
Well, you scored that one, all right,
yeah.
But then you got another chance. What really happened there?
Well, I rushed it a little bit. I mean, I put the ball on the spot and I took a step back and I rushed up to it a little bit and I got my foot underneath it and it went over, unfortunately.
But that didn't really matter because in the end, you scored a second goal the second goal of your career for Leicester City, which must have made the night for you.
Oh yeah, in front of the home fans, I loved it. I loved playing in front of the crowd, and Marshy, I think Marshy closed him down or Sav, and the ball came out to me, and I took him from the goal, and I thought the keeper should have saved it really, but he just went for his hands, and I was quite happy with that.
Now, your brother Scott is a professional footballer now with Sheffield Wednesday. Your dad's a big star as well, guitarist and sometimes singer with Shawaddy Waddy.
Yeah.
You've had #1 hits. Now, he was up in the stands, so that must have been great.
Yeah, it's just a shame my mum couldn't be here, really. I mean, she was at home. Hopefully she looked on teletext and seen my name, but I'm glad my dad was there and a few of my friends to watch me score a goal.
Well, how important has your dad been in your career?
I mean, he's coached me from an early age. He's not that good footballer himself, but he's coached me all he can, and my brother helps a lot as well.
Is your dad a better guitar player than footballer?
Well, I think he's about the same as both, really. He's not very good at either.
But he's had a #1 hit, though.
Yeah, I suppose so. I can't really argue with that.
Andy Impey skipping down the right, gets the cross into the far post. Headed back in by Guppy, and in by Muzzy is it. Muzzy is its 5th goal of the season. Steve Guppy, another man with an excellent left foot. That's dummied by an almost comical goal. And it's Gareth Southgate who almost fell for that dummy. Didn't think it was coming through to him. Still raining fairly steadily after that absolute downpour during the half-time interval. Phil Gilchrist also coming forward to add some height in the box as Leicester City attack this corner kick. Taken by Steve Guppy. That trusty left foot again. Swings the ball across. Up goes Robbie Savage at the far post, and eventually it's put in by Tony Cottee. Tony Cottee nimbly takes that ball away, plays a ball inside to Emil Heskey, who's brought down by Southgate. Surely this is another yellow card, 2 yellows and a sending off. Well, Southgate definitely seemed to pull the Heskey back. I think the replay will show that the ball through from Heskey, ball through from Cottee, was inside the defender. Heskey was moving on to that and impeded by Southgate. And I don't think he can really complain about a second yellow card. Gareth Barry keeps the ball in, swings it across left-footed. First-time shot from Dion Dublin, and the Leicester lad scores against his hometown club.
Aston Villa, I thought our performance was magnificent for about 65-70 minutes in the game. We got ourselves 3-0 in front against a big club and a very good team. And that, I would reckon that I would say 65-70 minutes was probably the best that we have played in a long time. All the players, all the big players were playing brilliantly. Everybody in the field was doing superbly, and we went 3-0 in front. I think we took the foot off the pedal then. They got to go back to make it 3-1. I think it was Dion Dublin scored. And we had an uncomfortable 10 or 15 minutes to go. But overall, it was a magnificent performance.
After 2 home wins, could Leicester make it a white-hot lane for Spurs? Muzzy Izzet had a point to prove after not making the England squad. So, Emil Heskey winning an early penalty won't have done him any harm. And there was more to come later from Muzzy. In between times, Stefan Everson, who set up Spurs' Worthington Cup final goal against Leicester at Wembley, showed he could score as well. His second goal put Spurs ahead. But Tim Flowers made sure the lead wasn't extended. and denied Iversen a hat-trick. So, time for Muzzy to give Keegan another nudge. And so did Steve Guppy with the super cross, as usual. Now, all that was needed was for Emil Heskey to get the winner. But it came from a more unlikely source, the radar-accurate Jerry Taggart. He does that in training every day, or so he told me.
It was terrific. Robbie Savage went down there, took dog's abuse again from the Tottenham fans, and we come out big winners, getting a goal in front, going behind, to fight back again and to win the game terrifically. Just mentioned there, you know, you're talking about people who have delighted me this season. Jerry Taggart. I was just picturing him scoring the goal against Tottenham Hotspur. His performances have been excellent. You know, really have been excellent. I'm really pleased for him. He's come here as very much as an understudy to Steve Walsh. Walsh obviously will battle to his 96 before he decides that you know, this game's going to get the better of him. And Taggart's had a few injury problems. However, he's been roaring in this season. He's done terrifically, and he's got a decent run on it. And I think his performance has improved. Now, I bet you those are famous last words, and I bet you never gets a kick in the new year.
When you came along, the thought of having a squad full of international players, people might have laughed at that. You can now field 11 internationals in a Leicester side.
Well, I am very, very pleased about that. Obviously, that might say something about the sort of progress that we're trying to make. I still believe that, despite the fact that you've just told me that we can field 11 international players, it's good news. What I will say is that, and I've often said this, and I bet you're just going to fall off to sleep now when I tell you it again, is that the nucleus of the side is very, very strong. Peripheries are maybe just not as strong as we would like them to be. To be able to compete at Premiership level on a basis or in an area, I think, where we'd like to compete, and you're talking about top half of the table rather than bottom half.
You've got two in the current England squad, in Heskey and Guppy. And some people would argue that Muzzy is worth a chance, and Tim Flowers is certainly one of the best three keepers in the country.
I would agree with you. I think Flowers has had a terrific time since he's come here, but it's not. That sounds as if he's only had a good time since he's come here. He's been a top-class goalkeeper now for a decade. He won a championship at Blackburn Rovers. Now, you can't get much better than that. He was playing in a terrific side then, there's no doubt about it. But we are really, really pleased to have him. Not only is an excellent goalkeeper, his form's certainly back to that England class that he was in not that very long ago, to be perfectly honest. But he's also a really good lad around the dressing room. He's a great attitude to training. In fact, it's very, very difficult to get him stopped training, and I think that his influence has helped us get off to the sort of start that we've got. Now, you mentioned the other players. You mentioned Heskey, who's got a great career in front of him. Guppy, who's a very, very young 30-year-old, you know. Well, and I think he's a young 30-year-old. I'd love to see him get his chance on the left-hand side. You never know. You know, we've some months now before England start to really properly plan for the Euro 2000, so hopefully he will still be in the manager's mind. And obviously mentioned Izzet, who's certainly got a couple of months now to try and make that sort of progress. But for those particular people who are who may be involved with England, it's really good news if they stay fit and you know, keep feet on the ground. Then they can certainly be involved in Euro 2000.
Lennon. The right pass. He was lurking on the near post. Sinclair again. That's Muzzy, is it? He strikes again. He is in such a rich vein of form this season. That's his 8th goal. to underline his claims for an England place. He really has caught the eye this season, and that was an immaculate finish from Muzzy, is it? 28 minutes in, and Leicester have the lead they have been threatening for some time. Good ball in from Sinclair, and the keeper just couldn't get his hands to the ball. It was so accurate in the header from Izzet. Really has emerged as a potent goal scorer this season, to add to his other assets, which there are many. Free kick for Grimsby, which they tried to take quickly, and now have done so. It's Donovan. It was a trap, and it's a penalty. Colliding with Oakes, and the referee has pointed to the spot. He's going to caution Oakes as well. It was a rash, reckless piece of defending. Donovan was drifting past him, and he just brushed him aside. So a great chance here for Grimsby to draw level. Paul Groves will take the kick. Oh, he's missed it. Wells with a save. It wasn't the best of penalties, I have to say, but still work to be done by Flowers. And he came to Leicester's rescue to spare the blushes of Steph Oakes. Played in for Cotty. Izzet's made the run here. Pops up everywhere, Muzzy Izzet. Good ball into Heskey! Expertly created and superbly taken by Heskey. And Leicester have doubled their advantage and maybe now put a seal on this game. Great work by Izzet, such an inviting cross, and Heskey has really attacked it. Just before the hour. Maybe now that has killed off Grimsby's spirited challenge. He's really powered that one home, Heskey.
The Leicester fans were soon chanting "Guppy for England" as arguably the country's best left wing-back used that lethal left to put his side in front. Now, if ever there was a typical Tony Cotty goal, here it comes. He was all of 2 yards out for this one, but once again the wiliest of the foxes showed his uncanny positional sense. For one striker though, Southampton's Kevin Davis, there was little to celebrate. This challenge on Jerry Taggart produced a red card and his departure. 10 men Southampton refused to give up, and Marion Pahars scored an excellent goal, but Leicester had the 3 points and 5 wins in a row. The defeat at Bradford should be dealt with quickly. For once, the boss wasn't too pleased. A quick reminder of the scorers. Robbie Blake put Bradford in front. Andy Impey made it 1-1. Before Lee Mills put Bradford back in front. Neil Redfern wrapped things up for the Yorkshire side.
So Guppy switches across to the right-hand side to curl this one in with his left foot. Matt Elliott at the far post, heads it across. Up goes Jerry Taggart for his 3rd goal of the season, and Leicester City take the lead in the 24th minute. So the goal simple enough, curled free kick from the right touchline by Steve Guppy, headed back by Matt Elliott, headed in by Jerry Taggart. A brave header going up with Pavel Cernicek, and Taggart wins the duel. Only Cottee lurking right in the goal mouth. Flicked on by Sinclair, and that's a 2nd goal for Jerry Taggart. Well, Taggart doubles his goal tally for the season. That's 4 so far for the Northern Ireland international. Similar goals, flick-ons from set pieces. And there's Taggart. Heskey rumbling forward, great ball out to Andy Impey on the right. Impey into the box, gets the ball across right-footed, Cottee with the header. That's a 3rd goal for Leicester City. Tony Cottee's 6th goal of the season, wonderfully worked goal. Emil Heskey out to Impey, Impey's the byline, a header from Tony Cottee. Martin O'Neill delighted with that goal. He wanted Andy Impey to get to the byline more. He's done just that. And the finish, sheer perfection from Tony Cottee. Leicester fans who wonder why Guppy and Izzet aren't England regulars must know how Man U followers feel. Ball forward from Ewell to Marcus Gale with the volley, and that's a tremendous goal for Wimbledon. A typical Marcus Gale goal, and that certainly pleased Norwegian coach Egil Olsen.
The Wimbledon goal scorer, number 11, Marcus Gale.
So Leicester a goal down after 20 minutes. Tony Cottee, brilliantly constructed goal for Leicester City. Tony Cottee with a typical poacher's goal, right place at the right time. It's 1-1 after 21 minutes. There have been signs for Wimbledon that Carl Court and John Hartson are forming quite a potent partnership. 8 goals so far this season for Court and 7 for Hartson. And Hartson really hasn't shown his best form yet since his £7.5 million move from West Ham, and that very clearly a Wimbledon transfer record. That ball slips to Emil Heskey, pushes into the box, And there, of course, is Tony Cotty to finish. A dreadful defensive blunder by Wimbledon, seized upon by Emil Heskey, finished by Tony Cotty. So, 8 for the season for Tony Cotty. Manager Martin O'Neill looked a little glum at Highfield Road, so ref Steve Lodge did his best to cheer him up. Here we go again. But it would take more than that to make those Irish eyes smile. Getting 3 points is no laughing matter. Coventry manager Gordon Strachan said later that Emil Heskey had waged a one-man war against his back four and won. What a way to round off the first half of the season. As it says on the front of this video, so far, so good.